So today I want to revisit Aquestive Therapeutics, ticker symbol AQST. It's currently sat at $3.43 and has a market cap of around $300 million. I first took a look at Aquestive Therapeutics around 5 months ago, and my conclusion at that time was that the stock had a bright future, but it might be bumpy along the way. 5 months later, the stock price has fallen from the $4.50 to the $3.43 it is now. And in fact, in that time, it went up above the $5 and then it came back down and dropped below the 3. It's only in the last few days that it climbed up to the 3.43 that it is now. And I'm going to start off this video by saying that I am now invested in Aquestive Therapeutics. And the reasons for this is that more time has passed since I last spoke about this company. So it's been 5 months, which means they're 5 months closer to submitting to FDA approval. And also the market cap has fallen from around $500 million to around $300 million that it is today. So for me, that means I can buy a better company at a cheaper price. So first of all, I'm going to do a quick recap about the company, and then I'm going to talk about some recent developments that have happened. So we can see in front of us here, I have the ticker taco research, and actually none of this has really changed since I last did it. So it's just as relevant today as it was back then. So we have the Anafilm potential, which is probably going to be the main breadwinner for this company. Aquestive is expecting this to be around the $1 billion mark. And then we have the Libervant potential, which they're expecting to be around the $100 to $200 million mark. And then we have the Aquestive 108, which they're hoping to be around the $400 million mark. The problem is that none of these actually have full FDA approval as of yet. However, the Anafilm is just a delivery mechanism for the epinephrine. The only thing the company is really worried about here is having to do an AdCom, which will set back the launch date for Anafilm. Libervant is already approved, but they're hoping for an extension to that approval so that they can use it for 12-year-olds and greater. And Aquestive 108 is a topical gel that is expected to start phase 2 trials this year. They also have the Adrenoverse platform, which actually in the last video I was quite excited about because they had an upcoming Investors Day, which they hinted something big was going to be happening there. Unfortunately, I don't think the news was actually that interesting. They were just talking further about the Aquestive 108. But still, I like that the Adrenoverse platform is there, discovering new things for the company and also creating partnerships with other companies. So the cash runway here is low. However, in their recent Oppenheimer conference, they did say that they would have enough money to see them through, even if an AdCom did occur. This should be pretty good news for the investors, as we shouldn't expect dilution until after approval. We can't guarantee that, of course, but that's how it's currently looking. They did also say that they would look at non-dilutive measures, but they really didn't sound convincing about that. I do think that on approval, this stock could jump 3 or 4 times, so I don't think any of the long-term investors are going to be too worried about dilution at that point. So that's a quick refresh about the company with a few small updates. Next, I'm going to talk about a recent press release, and then I'm going to talk about their competitor Neffy and what they've been up to. And lastly, I'm going to take a look at the stock price and share my thoughts on where I think that might be heading. And the news that sent this stock from the $3 to where it is now, around the 340 mark. Now for me, the only new thing that this showed was the consistent stability and potency under extreme temperature and real world conditions. Now this is really important for this product because it's all about portability, and if you don't have durability, then you're going to have to keep on changing these strips, and that's going to cut down on the portability benefit. So just on this alone, I can understand why the stock jumped on this news. The other information about the pharmacodynamic, and the pharmacodynamic I thought was already shown in the previous testing. Perhaps one piece of new news here was the fact that it wasn't impacted by the oral swelling. Either way, this is all really good news for the company and strengthens the case that when this is released, this is going to be the standard of care for epinephrine delivery. So next we have to talk about Neffy, and Neffy is a competitor drug. It delivers epinephrine in a nasal spray. For me, I think this is going to be an inferior product to Anafilm when it comes out. And the reason for that being is the portability of Anafilm. With Neffy, you still have to carry around a plastic bottle nasal spray. And this is going to be difficult for people who are changing outfits or going for sports or doing a multitude of different things in their daily lives. However, with Anafilm, you can put it in the back of your phone case and take it everywhere that you take your phone, which for people nowadays is nearly everywhere. But it's important to look at Neffy and see what they are doing at the moment. But it's important to look at Neffy because they recently released some preliminary results. And these results show that they made $6.5 million in the last quarter. Now, if they were able to keep this type of growth up, after 1 year, they would have a run rate of $100 million. And I believe it's quite likely that they're going to be able to increase this run rate. For me, this is important because I believe Anafilm will get approved, and when it does, I expect it to grow faster than Neffy. Of course, this does depend on a multitude of factors. However, I think Neffy are paving the way now for EpiPen to be a thing of the past. And I think this is going to help Anafilm when it comes out. And I think it's going to be an easy choice for people between Neffy and Anafilm if they are priced at roughly the same amount. Okay, so lastly, I want to talk about the stock price. And as you can see from this chart, it's had quite some up and down activity here. But it's currently sat at $3.40 and has a market cap of around $310 million. Now, if we compare this to ARS Pharmaceuticals, who own Neffy, we can see that they are valued at $1.13 billion. And although they're currently sat at $12, they did actually reach a peak here of around $17.50. So that would have been valuing them around $1.7 million. ARS Pharmaceuticals only have Neffy, so there's no other drugs in the pipeline to back them up. Aquestive Therapeutics, on the other hand, has the Adrenoverse, and the hope that this can continue creating new drugs like the Aquestive 108. So I think if Aquestive do get their approval at the end of this year, then we could see a run past $1 million for this stock. I think it's a clear favourite in the competitive race against Neffy, and it has more to offer stockholders in general. One of the biggest problems with Aquestive at the moment is that it just doesn't have enough money to launch Anafilm if it gets approved. However, I don't think this is going to be too much of a problem. If the stock jumps and then they decide to do a dilutive money raise, then the long investors will still be very much rewarded for being in the stock. For me now, I think that this is my favourite stock, which is a lot for me to say for anyone who knows me as one of the biggest Ardalex fans. I don't think it's a clear favourite over the two, but I have most of my money in Ardalex at the moment. I think it's going to have a very good year this year, but any spare money that I do get now, I'm going to be putting into Aquestive. Of course, this is just me, and you should decide what you want to do with your money. There are risks involved in every investment, but I do recommend that you take a closer look at this stock if you haven't already. And as always, please do come to my website Ticker Taco and sign up for the email updates so that you get alerted about anything updated within my research. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.